Hello guys, welcome to today's episode of Amazon Web Services. In today's video, we want to teach you how you can set up your first AWS Lambda. So to create an AWS Lambda, you can just go to the search bar and type Lambda. But in my case, I already have it as a shortcut for recently visited. But if you don't see it just the way I can see on my screen, you can just come here and say Lambda, and you just click the first option. So I don't have a Lambda function created previously. So what I would do is I'll come here and create a function. I'll just click on the function key. So we want to leave this to auto from scratch since we're running a very simple program, hello world. And then we'll come here and give our Lambda a name. I can call this demo Lambda function. And since I'll be running a Python script, I'll change this from Node.js to Python 3.11. So I'll come down to this drop bar and change the default execution role. So if I don't already have an existing role, I'll create a new permission. But since I already have an existing role, I'll just come here and say use existing role. And then I'll come to this drop bar and then use the existing role that I already have. And then I'll click create function. So we have the Lambda function created. The next thing we want to do is we want to configure the trigger. Now what this does is we want to schedule the Lambda function by setting an Amazon event bridge. The Lambda function can be configured to operate much like a cron job on a Linux server or a scheduled task on a Microsoft Windows server. However, you do not need to have a server running to host the Lambda. That's the good part of it. So since we want to schedule an event, I will come to add trigger, and then I'll click on the drop down and then look for event bridge since we're scheduling an event, CloudWatch event, and then under existing role, on the role I'll create a new role, and then I'll give this role a name. I will schedule this to run run every minute. And then you can put a description there, but it doesn't really matter. So the next thing I want to do is I would specify in this manner for my event to run every 1 minute. And then I'll close this. So you want to be careful because this is character sensitive. And then I'll click on add. So after doing that, the next thing we want to do is we want to configure the Lambda function. So this is where I would paste my Python script. So don't worry, I will make sure the script is available in the comment section so you can practice with it. So the next thing I'll do is I'll come down to this panel and then I'll click the code tab. So what I would do next is I will take this one out of it, and then I'll copy and paste my Python script. So the next thing I'll do is I'll change the region to US East 1. And if you're wondering how I came up with US East 1, it's the code for the region that I'm currently logged in to, US East 1. And then the next thing I want to do is I will change the instance ID. Now to get that, you want to duplicate this tab. So in my case, I already have the instance ID running in my EC2 instance. So if you don't, it's fine. You can create an instance and make sure that for practice sake, be able to complete the entire section of this video. But just to make things easy, this one has been pre-made. So I'll just use the one that exists already. I'll come here and say instances. And then this is the one I'm going to use, instance 1. So once I check mark this is the instance ID I'm looking for. So I'll just come here and copy, and then I'll go back to my Lambda function code, and then I'll replace it with this. So after doing that, I would click save. I'll come to file and save this script and then deploy this code. And as you can see, our code has been successfully deployed. Now to test and verify if this event which we've created for the EC2 instance 1 works, we want to go to the EC2 instance and see that our instance has stopped, because the main purpose for this is the event we created for this Lambda event is to stop our instance every 1 minute, because we set it to stop every 1 minute. And now if we come here and start our instance again and say start instance, now you can see that our instance is pending. Let's do this again. Refresh. So let's wait for it. Now you can see that our instance is running, but this is not going to run forever, because you remember we set it to stop every 1 minute. So after another minute, we will refresh this instance, and then you will see that the instance state the instance state status will be stopped. So let's refresh this again. Now you can see our instance state, it's stopping, and this will eventually stop if the 1 minute cycle is completed. So this is how you schedule event on your EC2 instance. You use the AWS Lambda, and then you specify if you want to stop an instance. You could do it for a minute, for 2 seconds, for 2 hours, whichever way you set it to work, it would perform that function for you. So you can see the instance has been stopped.